Hey everyone, welcome to My Millennial Business. I'm Glen James. I've got a friend of the My Millennial podcast world and a fellow small business owner who many of you may have talked with. He's a financial advisor. His name's James Millard from Sufficient Funds. G'day James, how are you?
Hi Glenn, thank you for having me. I'm well, thanks.
Now you're here today not as a financial advisor, not as a cool guy who surfs, not as all that stuff, just as a fellow small business owner. Now, I want to ask you, what's your freckle? A couple of weeks ago, I was in North Sydney and it just really got me thinking this thing about the client engagement, the 1%ers that you can do in your business to get people talking about you and to get customers to come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
On Miller Street, if you are in Sydney, North Sydney, you might work there. I know there's thousands of people who listen to this crap, but there's a cafe on Miller Street called Good Bean, okay? And a friend of ours, Danny Visser, we were doing some stuff at her workplace at Zurich near it.
What a ledge.
She's a legend. And we're like, let's go get a coffee. And she's like, oh, I know the best place. I'm like, sweet. We go there. Number one, they roast their own coffee, so the coffee was fantastic. But number two, every coffee, they put a chocolate freckle on the lid.
How good.
And this was the amazing thing, right? I was like, oh, can I have 2 freckles? Lol, lol, lol. So for me, I'm just like, this is awesome. I get a chocolate freckle. Now, what it did was it made us go back for the coffee in the afternoon. Because like, we're going to get another coffee. Like, we're going back to the freckle place.
And they're not 5 cents anymore like they used to be, right?
Exactly. So I want to just kind of unpack this as a business. What is your 1% that's really cheap that could get people talking and could get people to remember you and want to go back next time they're in town or to tell their friends or whatever that is? And I've put you on the spot, James. I don't know if you've got any that you can think of, but in my first observation is the coffee situation for that cafe, it's hygiene. So the product and the service is, I believe, hygiene. That has to be good to start with.
Yeah.
It could be the worst coffee in the world, and if they put that freckle on there, don't care, not going back. Like, number one. Number two, don't put a cheap crap freckle on either, because that could be tokenism.
Yeah.
So it was good quality chocolate, good freckle, or whatever. It was yummy. Might have even been Allen's, right? So what you do has to be good and hygiene. Don't try and dick around with all this soft stuff to, make people like you and talk, because if your product or service sucks anyway, it's in vain.
Big time.
I'm going to throw to you to say something.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this whole concept?
So using the hygiene and the quality of the coffee analogy for what we're doing, I mean, for us, we're delivering a service, so it has to be on time, it has to be good, it has to be valuable, it has to work for people, it has to make sense. One of the biggest things we've found that we can do to really stand out is make sure that the clients we're talking to fully understand what we're doing and it's super relevant, as relevant as it possibly can be. So dive into all the goals, get really clear on all the important life aspects up front, and then apply the money, because when you're applying the money plan, everything else flows.
Yes.
And so, and then when that client's sitting at the cafe or the pub with their mate, they can actually remember, and it's not, oh, I did insurance with James and that was awesome. It's, holy moly, I've got all these things that matter to me and I'm now ticking them off.
Yeah.
So that's the big stuff, right? If we don't get all of that right, the little stuff won't matter. I think from a what's the freckle perspective, it's those really tiny little things that we actually remember. I guess for us, the first thing we needed to always remember is we're in the relationship business more than anything. People need to rely on us and need to be able to call us and pick up the phone and all of that. But tiny, tiny little things that make a massive difference is remembering the dog's name, for example.
Yes.
The kid plays soccer, not football. And having those tiny little things that when you pick up the phone, You don't bring it up all the time, but every now and then there's something super relevant. And if you've remembered that, so to speak, it blows them out of the water.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's like you could be awesome and remember the kid's name, the dog's birthday, and all that stuff. But if you were crap at basic stuff about replying to emails on time or this, it all goes out the window.
Big time.
And I think a lot of businesses, they get caught in this wow factor to wow people. I would say still focus 80, 90% on doing what you do very well.
Big time.
Because I've come to you for this. Do it, meet my expectations. Done. Then go, what 1%ers can I sprinkle in that are so cost effective and get people talking?
Yeah. So we do things that are not super cheap, but it works, like $20 for keep cups to go to new clients. And that type of thing. But that's not, I wouldn't call that even the freckle, right? Because that's a costly event when you've got lots of people coming through the door, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I agree that you got to focus on have the fundamentals of everything you do phenomenal. The better you can get that, the better it's going to be. But those 1%ers, like the freckle at the cafe, is bringing people back. So you don't underestimate what a very, very tiny little thing.
And this is like the crazy thing, because if the guy wasn't friendly who served me, don't care about the freckle, don't care about the coffee. If the coffee tasted like crap, don't care about the freckle. I mean, if the coffee tasted good, which it did, and the guy was friendly, which he was, I would still be going back there. So that's that whole, you still got to nail what you do.
But are you going to talk about it?
But am I going to jump on a podcast and tell thousands of people about this cafe called Good Bean?
Millions, isn't it?
Millions even. Yeah. Glenn Rogan, they call me. Is there, so it's just that, what are you doing? And these are short podcasts and we'll leave it there. But what are you doing in your business? Like Good Bean at North Sydney are doing very well.
Absolutely. Take some time. Think about it.
Thanks for letting me bounce that off you, James. And if you are thinking of something, let me know somehow. Like follow us on Instagram, My Millennial Money, shoot me a message, put in the Facebook group, My Millennial Money. Let's have a bit of a discussion about these 1%ers.
For sure.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.